Royal moment. King Felipe grants Princess Leonor historic titles, Countess of Cervera and Lady of Balaguer crown fire. The royal palace doors opened, but what came next left even Spain breathless. The heir to the Spanish throne, Princess Leonor, has just been granted two historic titles that echo through centuries of royal tradition. Countess of Cervera, Lady of Balaguer, ancient names, now reborn in the hands of a new generation. But behind this seemingly simple announcement lies something far more profound, a moment that defines not just her royal journey, but the future of the Spanish crown itself. For years, the world has watched Princess Leonor grow, from a shy child standing beside her father at official ceremonies, to a confident young woman ready to lead a nation. But no one expected that King Felipe VI would make this move, restoring titles not used for generations, and giving them to his eldest daughter in a gesture filled with symbolism, emotion, and legacy. This is not just about nobility. It's about continuity. It's about destiny. It's about a father entrusting his daughter with the deepest roots of Spain's royal heritage. As King Felipe stood before the gathered guests at Zarzuela Palace, the air was thick with emotion. The occasion, though formal, carried an intimate undertone, a father's pride wrapped in the language of ceremony. The sound of the herald's voice echoed through the hall as he proclaimed, "Her Royal Highness the Princess of Asturias is hereby granted the ancient dignities of Countess of Cervera and Lady of Balaguer." At that moment, Leonor bowed her head, the light catching the royal insignia pinned to her gown. A quiet smile crossed her face, not of triumph but of deep responsibility. This was no ordinary gesture. It was a message from King Felipe to his people: the future is ready. To understand the weight of this moment, we must go back in time, centuries back, to the origins of these titles. The county of Cervera dates to the early Middle Ages, tied to the royal line of Aragon. It was a land of knights, castles, and loyalty, a place where the monarch's word was sacred. To be Count or Countess of Cervera was to hold both honor and duty. The Lady of Balaguer title, too, carries ancient roots, once reserved for members of the Catalan nobility closely linked to the crown. By reviving these names, Felipe is not just honoring his daughter, he is restoring fragments of Spain's royal soul. But why now? Why these titles? Royal watchers suggest this as part of a carefully orchestrated transition, a gradual handing of symbolic power as Leonor comes of age. She has already taken her oath to the Constitution, stood before the Spanish Parliament, and pledged to serve her country with loyalty and devotion. But this new chapter marks something more personal, a bond between father and daughter, between past and future. Palace insiders whisper that King Felipe wanted to do this quietly, without fanfare. But as news broke, the entire nation turned its eyes toward the young princess once again. Spanish newspapers called it a gesture of historical continuity, while royal commentators saw it as the final step in preparing Leonor to one day become queen. And indeed, the symbolism runs deep. In granting her the county of Cervera and the lordship of Balaguer, Felipe was doing what his ancestors once did when a new heir was ready to assume their role, not through words, but through legacy. These titles were last revived in connection to Leonor's own grandparents, King Juan Carlos and Queen Sofia, who carried them as symbols of unity between Castile and Aragon, the very foundations of modern Spain. It is said that when Leonor learned of her father's decision, she was deeply moved. Though she rarely shows emotion in public, close aides described her as quietly overwhelmed, taking time to reflect on the responsibility these names carried. For a princess raised under immense pressure, this moment was both an honor and a calling. The day of the announcement was serene. The autumn sun poured through the palace windows, illuminating the portraits of past monarchs: Isabella II, Alfonso XIII, Juan Carlos I. Leonor stood between them, her blue sash perfectly aligned, her posture graceful yet firm. The ceremony was short, but its impact, immeasurable. As King Felipe addressed his daughter, his voice softened: "You bear not only the weight of our crown, but the hopes of our people. These titles are not rewards, they are trusts. May you guard them with wisdom, humility, and courage." Those words hung in the air like a benediction. Leonor curtsied deeply. And for a fleeting moment, the king was not a monarch, but a father watching his daughter take her first step into history. Behind the grandeur, however, lies another layer of intrigue. Some within royal circles believe this move is also a strategic one, reinforcing Leonor's legitimacy and strengthening the monarchy's presence in Catalonia, a region often seen as politically sensitive. By granting her titles tied to Catalan lands, Felipe may be weaving a message of unity, a subtle reminder that Spain's future queen will represent all of Spain. And yet, beyond politics, there's something profoundly human about it all. For Leonor, every new title, every ceremony, every bow carries emotional weight. She has grown up in a world where every glance, every gesture is watched, interpreted, and analyzed. But this moment, this coronet, these names, were different. They were given with love, with trust, with history in every syllable. Later that evening, in private, the family gathered for a quiet dinner. No photographers, no cameras, just Felipe, Queen Letizia, Leonor, and Infanta Sofia. The king raised his glass to his eldest daughter. To the Countess of Cervera, he said softly, smiling. Leonor blushed. Sofia giggled. And for that brief instant, they weren't royals, they were just a family, celebrating a milestone together. Yet the world beyond those palace walls was already buzzing. Across Spain, headlines captured the historic news. Leonor receives historic titles, Spain's future begins, read El País. Social media flooded with pride, admiration, and curiosity. People who once doubted the monarchy found themselves inspired by the young princess's grace and dedication. Internationally, too, Leonor's image has transformed. From European capitals to Latin America, she's now being recognized as not just a royal figure, but a symbol of modern leadership, young, educated, disciplined, and grounded. Her education at the prestigious UWC Atlantic College in Wales shaped her worldview, blending royal tradition with global awareness. Those who studied alongside her describe her as modest, kind, and quietly intelligent. And now, back in Spain, those qualities shine brighter than ever. Each new step Leonor takes seems carefully aligned with her destiny. Her oath to the Constitution, her military training, her growing presence at national ceremonies. And now, these titles, solidifying her position as the rightful heir. It's as if King Felipe is writing the script of transition himself, one moment at a time. But what does it mean to be Countess of Cervera, or Lady of Balaguer, in today's world? In modern Spain, titles are symbolic, not political. Yet, in the monarchy's heart, they still carry emotional truth. They speak of lineage, duty, memory, of those who served before. By granting them to Leonor, Felipe reminds his nation that tradition and progress are not enemies, but allies. Every generation of monarchs must redefine their legacy. Juan Carlos brought democracy, Felipe brought transparency, and now, Leonor is bringing renewal. Her new titles are just the beginning. In the years ahead, she will continue her military service, deepen her constitutional education, and begin representing Spain abroad. Each act will build upon the foundation laid by this moment, the day she became Countess of Cervera and Lady of Balaguer. As the night drew to a close at Zarzuela Palace, the royal family stepped onto the terrace, gazing out at the Madrid skyline. The city lights shimmered like distant stars. Felipe placed a hand on Leonor's shoulder and whispered something only she could hear. She nodded, her eyes reflecting the glow of the horizon. Perhaps it was then she understood that this was more than ceremony. It was the passing of a torch. And so, the royal story continues, a tale of honor, legacy, and love between a king and his daughter, between a nation and its future queen. Centuries from now, historians will look back on this moment as a turning point, the day Spain's monarchy quietly, gracefully, stepped into a new era. A royal moment that began not with grandeur, but with a simple truth, that the strength of a crown is not in its jewels, but in the hearts that wear it. Princess Leonor, Countess of Cervera, Lady of Balaguer, the heir of Spain, the daughter of a king, the symbol of a future that blends past and promise. And as the Spanish royal flag fluttered above Zarzuela that night, one thing was certain, history had spoken once again. Spain's next chapter has begun. Princess Leonor has taken her rightful place, not just as the heir, but as the heart of a nation.